Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor and I help people navigate through their ascension process. And today I'm going to give you some advice from what I've gathered on my own journey in dealing with, overcoming, and transcending the sometimes energetic storms that just tend to blow you over, that pull you down deep, quickly, faster and faster into a downward spiral, where your life just feels like it's falling apart at the seams, faster than you can even come close to keeping up with. An energetic awakening storm. The cold, bitter winters, the harsh winters of your awakening can have their way with you. They can shake you. And these storms oftentimes come when you're already feeling kind of weak to begin with. Your insecurities are up at the surface, tough to shake. You're feeling doubtful, as I mentioned in a previous video, fearful. The future is very unset, and now the storms have blown in. And it can bring you to your knees. It can make you question everything, regardless of how many glimpses of truth and connection and faith that you've had in the past. Gone, not helping you. You're severed off, you're cut off, enduring these storms, feeling weaker and weaker than ever. It's a tough time right now, man. It's November 2016. A lot of people think this is going to be like the big old ascension from here until December. And a lot of times we have these periods in our mind that we look forward to as being transformative, but the reality of intense transformation is sometimes we encounter these energetic ascension energy type storms, and they're no fun. They're tough. But I'm going to share in this video how I deal with them. There's 3 things I do every time a storm hits, and they hit, man. The energies are intense. I'm getting hit too. I know a lot of you guys are as well. The first thing I do is switch gears. That's the best piece of advice I can give you for your awakening in general, as a whole, in any situation, is be very flexible, be very fluid. Don't get too set in one direction. Don't get too attached to an energetic state of being, a place of connectedness, because you're going to be, it's all over the place if you haven't noticed. And the more quickly you can accept that this little joyful little bubble you were once so comfortable and cozy in has been popped, and now you're exposed again, we can spend a lot of wasted time being upset and resistant to this change. So I allow myself to flow with the energies, and I immediately, as soon as I can, I've gotten much faster, I would say. It's never immediate, being perfectly honest, but it's probably 100 times faster than before. Instead of wallowing and complaining and being a victim and saying, oh wow, what's happening? I switch gears. I switch gears into a different mode. It's a few different traits to this different mode I go into. I go into like almost like a healthy feeling of competition, like a metaphorical state of fight or flight, like bring it on, okay? What you got from me? That's that kind of energy, that sort of like toughness. At the same time, I go into this is gonna lead into number 2. Number 2, so that's kind of my switching gears tip. Number 2 is part of that switching gears. I go into like a state of mind, like, again, accepting that I'm in this storm. And these storms always produce a remarkable effect if you can use them to your advantage, if you can learn all the different lessons attempting to be illuminated during these emotional storms. And that's what I do. Every problem, every setback, every failure, every issue, every challenging emotion carries with it a message that now that it's here, you can see it with consciousness. And you can transmute it and let it go forever if you use what's in front of you and you stop resisting so much, like in tip number 1 I mentioned. So that's the 2 things I do. Thirdly, I had to think about it for a second. I was going to try to do this without writing anything down. Thirdly, I allow myself to be vulnerable, to be weak, to be insecure, to be neurotic, to have racy thoughts, intense emotions, chakra blockages. I allow it. I allow it to happen. I've learned to allow it by default because, for one, I know resisting these challenging states of being that oftentimes accompany these physical, literal, in your life, in your face type of situations is completely futile and only amplifies them. It doesn't help at all. I also learned that they always help you, and a lot of times these challenging states of being that you feel trapped in sometimes are on their way out forever. And if you can do those three things I mentioned, you can experience what I call an epic release. You can actually feel all of that energetic, karmic, residue type energy. You can feel it literally expelling out of your being. And then immediately you feel lighter and more free. And the feeling of liberation is absolutely all worth it. And you're like, oh my goodness. And once that release happens, all clarity sort of returns like with a bang. And you can suddenly see the value and the purpose of all that which you have just been through. And from here, you can go forth on a brand new direction, a brand new path that you would have never seen, was temporarily hidden until all this growth occurred. But now the tree branches have sort of like moved around and shifted, and suddenly there's this brand new path to go down, and you know where it's leading, and you know it's going to be good for you, and you have the map, and you're like, yes, let's do this.